Welcome to Observe China, I'm your host, Jason Wong. President Donald Trump's lawyer Rudy Giuliani will testify in front of the Michigan State House, according to House Speaker Lee Chatfield. In his statement, Chatfield did not say whether the GOP legislators would try to reclaim their authority in calling up electors to the Electoral College over allegations of voter fraud. Giuliani and Ellis have held events in Arizona and Pennsylvania in recent days, calling on their respective state legislatures to reclaim their authority to call up electors, while arguing that provisions in the Constitution provide them with that power. It came as legal challenges filed in several states were rejected by judges, although Ellis has said she is optimistic they will have cases heard before the U.S. Supreme Court. Pennsylvania was supposed to hold a state legislature meeting to discuss electoral voting for local reporters. Show that no legislature showed up because they will resume in January tomorrow. They have it off now. In the meantime, Pennsylvania for them. The next step is to move into the Supreme Court at the federal level. President Trump says he would appoint a special prosecutor to investigate the 2020 election fraud. During the same interview with Maria Bartiromo, President Trump says the Justice Department is missing in action on investigating alleged election fraud. Attorney General William Barr had issued a memo to probe election fraud for the department. I don't know if AG Barr is unable to move the Justice Department or that it is also compromised. Trump asked why the FBI isn't involved. And that it's a terrible thing for our country. Now, regarding the election fraud, President then went on to say that investigation into FBI Director James Comey and former FBI Assistant Director Andrew McCabe, and among other Obama-era officials resulted in little to no actions taken by the FBI or the DOJ. He also questioned why U.S. Attorney John Durham's report hasn't yet been released. The FBI finally asked two data experts for their information on their investigation. At the 2020 election to Sunday, and this came quite late, as the FBI should have opened an investigation, probably around the same time AG Barr sent out the memo 2 weeks ago. Matt Braynard is a former data achievement strategist for the Trump campaign, and who has an exclusive data on election fraud, was asked to deliver it to the agency on Sunday, as well as Phil Klein, EY professor at the Amistad Project of the Thomas More Society and the former Attorney General for Kansas. He was also asked by the FBI for his data. Now both have worked closely with election data. Matt Grainer has also been mentioned by Sidney Powell in her crack and lawsuits in both Georgia and Michigan City. Powell also filed for an emergency hearing regarding her lawsuit in Georgia, and asked that the election machines be seized and forensically audited. This is actually a great move as election 2020 data hasn't yet to be audited for. Arizona held a hearing on Monday regarding the election integrity. Here are the details of the major topics during the hearing. The first witness, Colonel Walton, says they traced using Spider Foot tool to track internet traffic on election day. There were a large data traffic going from about 7 terabytes to about 10 terabytes. A 30% increased one-packet backtrack to Frankfurt server ran by Seidel. Most users in America today have internet speed averaging 50 megabytes. Just to give you an idea, he then clarified that votes can be accessed by authorized and unauthorized users. He says your vote is not as secure as your Venmo account. He also stated that the Dominion voting with user manual shows Ethernet ports needed to be connected at different steps, and that he traced internet usage on election day, confirming that machines are connected to the internet. The witness says an email that showed anonymous source stating that 35,000 fraud votes were added to each Democrat candidates in Pima County and across the nation. Keep in mind the person in the email has yet to file an affidavit. The email states that Pima County in Arizona will meet the total voter turnout and will not exceed the total voter limit. Even with that 35,000 vote injection, because it is done in a batch of 1,000 votes through an algorithm of the Dominion, another voting machines. Now the witness says using a full forensic audit can be done, and we will determine if the email is true or not. Now auditing is usually not done by candidates who lose because it causes a lot of money.
Not one of the military ballots.
A woman who said she was a poll observer at the TCF Center in Detroit on Election Day testified in front of a Michigan State Senate hearing that she saw numerous military ballots that looked like Xerox copies and were all allegedly marked for Democrat Joe Biden. The woman, who only identified herself as Patty and said she has 9 years' worth of experience, told the lawmakers that military ballots looked like they were all exactly the same Xerox copies of the ballot. They were all for Biden across the board. There wasn't a single Trump vote. The woman said that when she and other GOP observers tried to challenge them, election officials would tell us no. At one point, the poll observer alleged that when military ballots came in, she and others were told by election officials to take a break. There were lots of agitators at the TCF Center who allegedly worked on behalf of the Democratic Party, Patty also told lawmakers. She added that GOP poll observers were told to go upstairs to eat while the purported agitators and Democratic poll challengers got food brought in and were able to eat on the same floor, suggesting the unequal treatment of observers. None of the bipartisan group of lawmakers disputed her account. She provided no other details. Michigan's Secretary of State's office has not responded to a request for comment. John James, a Republican candidate for the U.S. Senate, has said he received multiple reports of irregularities and abnormalities in Detroit's TCF Center on election night, including poll challengers and poll workers who reported feeling harassed and unable to do their jobs. Melissa Carone, a freelance IT contractor who worked at the TCF Center for Dominion Voting Systems, alleged that she saw countless workers rescanning the batches without discarding them first on election day and beyond. Carone also testified at the Tuesday hearing, saying that she saw workers rescanning ballots up to 8 to 10 times. Dominion has said, in response to other allegations, that no credible reports or evidence of any software issues exist, while saying that vote counts are conducted by county and state election officials, not by Dominion. Previously, Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson said there is no evidence of voter fraud or irregularities that would overturn the election results in the state, which has 16 electoral college votes. That is it for today. Hope you have a wonderful evening. Take care.